Hey everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of Things Men Should Not Do with Women. As you begin to understand how to interact with women, it's important to realize the value of respect and awareness in every meeting. Each moment is an opportunity to build trust and connect. However, some behaviors can hurt these efforts and lead to misunderstandings. In this discussion, we will look at key things men should avoid doing with women. These insights are not just suggestions. They are essential for developing healthy and respectful relationships. If you're ready to improve your approach and make a positive difference, stick with us. Every point is important. Let's jump in and make every interaction meaningful. Lesson 1. Don't ruin your life by being too obsessed. Letting an obsession consume you is like chasing a mirage. You think you're getting closer to satisfaction, but in reality, you're only leading yourself deeper into frustration and disappointment. When you become overly fixated on something or someone, you're essentially surrendering control of your own well-being. As Buddha once said, the root of suffering is attachment. The more you cling to something beyond your control, the more you lose sight of your own happiness and purpose. Obsessions, whether with a goal, person, or outcome, create tunnel vision. You begin to neglect the other vital aspects of your life, your health, relationships, and inner peace. Just as prioritizing someone else's happiness over your own leaves you lost. Being too obsessed blinds you to the balance and joy that life offers. You may think that by focusing intensely, you're being driven and purposeful. But in reality, you're suffocating the very thing that makes life meaningful, your freedom to enjoy the journey. It's important to step back and reclaim balance. Understand that while passion and dedication are important, there's a fine line between commitment and obsession. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus advised, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Learn to release the need for total control and instead focus on what you can manage: your reactions, your mindset, and your priorities. Your life is too precious to be narrowed by a singular focus. Broaden your perspective and embrace the beauty of variety and moderation. Protect your mental peace and emotional health by refusing to let an obsession take over. Your mind and your happiness belong to you, and no obsession should dictate your life or steal your joy. Lesson 2. Face the fear of being alone. 1. Confront your fear of solitude. The fear of being alone is like standing in front of an open door but refusing to walk through it. Many people avoid solitude, believing it's a sign of loneliness or inadequacy, but being comfortable alone is actually one of the greatest strengths you can possess. As philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre noted, if you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. Learning to face the fear of being alone forces you to reckon with your own thoughts and emotions, allowing you to build resilience and self-awareness. Avoiding solitude often leads people to stay in unfulfilling relationships or surround themselves with distractions just to avoid confronting their inner selves. But solitude isn't something to fear. It's a space for growth, reflection, and recharging. By embracing alone time, you learn to listen to your true desires and become more in tune with what makes you genuinely happy. Much like protecting your past, learning to be alone is a way of guarding your inner world and giving yourself the chance to grow independently. 2. Solitude fosters strength. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely, it means you're comfortable in your own presence. When you learn to face this fear, you stop relying on others to fill your emotional gaps. Instead, you gain the freedom to enjoy your own company, make decisions without external validation, and cultivate inner peace. As the poet Rainer Maria Rilke once wrote, the point of marriage is not to create a quick commonality by tearing down all boundaries. On the contrary, a good marriage is one in which each partner appoints the other to be the guardian of his solitude. Whether single or in a relationship, it's important to cherish your independence. Solitude offers clarity, strength, and the ability to live on your own terms. Face the fear of being alone, and you'll find that the space it provides is not a void, but an opportunity for growth. Lesson 3. Honesty is always best. Choosing dishonesty in any situation is like building a house on unstable ground. It may stand for a while, but eventually, it will collapse under the weight of deception. Honesty, on the other hand, is the foundation of trust, and without it, meaningful relationships and personal integrity crumble. As Mark Twain said, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. When you are truthful, you eliminate the burden of maintaining lies, and your mind remains clear, free of the mental gymnastics that dishonesty demands. When you compromise your honesty to please others or avoid difficult conversations, you're essentially sacrificing your authenticity. This may seem like the easier path in the moment, but in the long run it leads to confusion, broken trust, and guilt. Being truthful, even when it's uncomfortable, protects your mental peace and emotional well-being. It's far better to live with integrity than to find yourself trapped in a web of lies that only pull you further from your true self. Honesty also promotes inner strength. When you stand by the truth, you strengthen your self-respect and become more resilient in facing challenges. Lies might offer temporary relief, but they create a cycle of avoidance and fear. As Benjamin Franklin wisely stated, honesty is the best policy. Truth-telling empowers you to face reality head-on, paving the way for genuine connections and long-lasting peace of mind. Your truth is yours to own, and it deserves to be shared openly. Honesty doesn't just protect your relationships, it protects your sense of self. Refuse to let dishonesty chip away at your integrity. Your mind belongs to you, and with it, you hold the power to shape your destiny by living authentically, no matter how difficult the truth may seem. Try to live on your own terms. Face the fear of being alone, and you'll find that the space it provides is not a void, but an opportunity for growth. Lesson 4. Never neglect communication. 1. Prioritize communication. Neglecting clear and open communication is like walking through a fog. You may think you know where you're going, but misunderstandings and misinterpretations are bound to leave you lost. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, whether personal or professional. As George Bernard Shaw once said, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Often we assume others understand our thoughts, needs, and feelings without truly expressing them. This assumption can create a dangerous gap where confusion and resentment thrive. Good communication is about more than just talking. It's about sharing your truth, listening actively, and ensuring that both sides feel heard and understood. Without this essential exchange, relationships wither under the weight of unspoken expectations and unresolved issues. Just as you would guard your past to protect your story, guard communication as the key to maintaining trust and clarity in your interactions. 2. Silence creates distance. Avoiding communication out of fear or discomfort only deepens divides between people. Whether it's addressing a concern or sharing a simple truth, regular and honest communication strengthens bonds and prevents small misunderstandings from becoming major issues. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Effective communication isn't just about expressing your thoughts. It's about actively engaging in the conversation and valuing what others have to say. Never underestimate the power of clear and open communication. It builds bridges, maintains trust, and keeps relationships grounded in mutual understanding. Lesson 5. Don't let anything harm your mental health or happiness. When you allow external pressures, other people's expectations, or even your own fears to take precedence over your mental well-being, you're essentially handing over the reins of your life. Imagine your happiness as a delicate garden. It requires attention, care, and protection from weeds that can choke its growth. When you neglect it to prioritize others, you're allowing those weeds to creep in, eventually draining your energy and vitality. Prioritizing your mental health isn't selfish, it's necessary. Trying to make everyone around you happy at the expense of your own well-being is like pouring from an empty cup. Just as you wouldn't expect a plant to thrive without water, you can't expect yourself to flourish without nurturing your own peace of mind. By putting yourself last, you risk losing sight of what brings you joy and fulfillment, creating a cycle where your happiness becomes secondary and your mental health starts to suffer. You deserve to be the primary character in your own story, not just a background player in someone else's. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure yours is full. Reclaim control over your happiness by setting boundaries, saying no when you need to, and recognizing that your mental health is the foundation for everything else in your life. Guard your happiness fiercely and remember you are responsible for your own joy. In conclusion, as we finish our discussion on what men should not do with women, let's take a moment to appreciate the importance of respectful interactions. The insights shared here are more than just tips. They encourage us to create deeper and more meaningful connections. If you found these points helpful, don't just consider them, put them into practice. I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Your input adds value to this conversation. Together, let's work towards a culture of respect and understanding that benefits everyone. Here's to breaking down barriers, building authentic relationships, and enjoying the beauty of genuine interactions. Thank you for being part of this important discussion. Let's keep striving for a better future together.